What's up, Facebook? Ty Crandall here with Credit Suite. Really excited to be on with you today live talking about how to get business financing. We're actually talking about business credit cards, loans, and talking about credit lines today. So if you're interested in getting money for your business, you're in the right place. Also, if you're interested in maybe getting money for your business or offering financing to your customers, you're also in the right place. So today we're going to decode this. We're going to talk about how to get up to $150,000 in unsecured financing for your business, meaning there's no collateral requirements. This is no documentation financing. You don't need tax returns. You don't need bank statements to get approved. And this is financing you're not going to get at a conventional bank. As a matter of fact, this is financing you can secure for your business even if your bank has told you no. Now, you don't have any cash flow requirements. You don't have any collateral requirements. So this means even as a startup, you're going to be able to secure what we're talking about today because you don't need to have the revenue that you would normally have to qualify for financing, such as cash flow financing. So to kind of give you a rundown of what we're talking about, let me kind of give you a summary and bring you up to date with what I call the 3 C's of lending before we dive in. And before you leave here, you'll know, one, how to get up to $150,000 in unsecured no-doc financing for your business, even as a startup. You're also going to know how to offer this to customers as a service if you want to actually make money with business credit financing. We'll talk a little bit about that. To bring you up to speed, we're talking about what I call the 3 C's of lending. Let me grab my Sharpie here. We'll grab my marker. So there's 3 C's of lending. Now, we talked about this a couple weeks ago before I headed out on vacation. Cash flow financing. How you can get financing for your business based only on revenue and having about 10 grand a month in monthly revenue. If you missed this, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Credit Suite. Look at our most recent video and you'll see how we went over how you can get $500,000 based only on your cash flow. But here's the question. What if you have no cash flow? What if you're a startup? What if you don't have $10,000 going through your business bank account? What if you don't have tax returns or don't want to show tax returns to get private money or alternative SBA? Or what if you want this kind of financing and more money on top of it? Well, that opens up what I call the second C of lending, which is credit-based financing. So what's nice about this 3 C's formula that I'm teaching you is that if you only have one, you don't need the other 2. So if you have consistent cash flow, you don't need to have good credit or collateral. If you have collateral, you don't need good credit or cash flow. Today we're talking about what would happen if you did one of 2 things. Either you have a 685 credit score or you have a guarantor that does. Maybe your credit's 520. But you have somebody else that's a family member, a friend, a member in your business, somebody else that wants to be part of what you're doing that has a 685 score, you're going to be able to qualify for what we're talking about today. And the best part of this is, tying into this 3-step formula, is that since you have the credit or a guarantor with the credit, you don't need the cash flow, you don't need the collateral. Which means with no collateral at all, you're going to get approved. That's what unsecured means. Is that you don't need collateral because it's not being secured by any kind of collateral in case you default. It's also no doc, which means you don't need bank statements and you don't need tax returns like you need with a lot of other loan programs. So this means even as a startup, you can get approved because you don't need the income documents that so many other loans require for you to be able to get approved. So this is really one of the most popular types of financing that we do. I mean, literally about 85% of the customers that we help get financing go with this program. But here's the other kicker. There's very few people that even know about this. This is not something you're going to find advertised or promoted with most lenders. It's kind of one of the most secret lending programs that I've found that exist in the business financing space. So what it comes down to is this, and I'll give you a rundown and we'll go to the whiteboard. It's all based on one thing and one thing only: consumer credit. So the question becomes, do you have good personal credit now, or do you have a guarantor that does? So what's a guarantor? A guarantor is somebody that you could add to your company as some kind of officer that has good personal credit even if you don't. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a colleague. Maybe it's somebody already in the business. Maybe it's a business partner. So this can work really well. And let me give you an example. Let's say I'm just starting Credit Suite. I need money to do so, and my credit's not good. Well, then in that case, maybe I go to somebody and explain to them the idea and they say, I love what you have. I'd love to be part of it, but I don't have the time to commit. I can go to them and say, hey, look, let me use your credit as a guarantor. That gives us the money to get this thing off the ground. I'll give you X% ownership in the company or X% return. There's a lot of ways you can use guarantors. It's very popular. But this program is based only on one thing, personal credit. If you have a credit score of 685 or higher, or a guarantor, someone around you that does, then there's a good chance you can qualify for this type of financing. That being said, let me kind of give you the specifics. So with this program, you need a 685 credit score, FICO score on the consumer side or higher from you or a guarantor. You can get approved even as a startup because you don't need any kind of bank statements and you don't need tax returns. So even if you just set up your business yesterday or today, you could still get approved. Again, it's unsecured, which means you don't need any kind of collateral to offset the lender's risk. Okay, if you was secured, you'd need collateral. Since it's unsecured, you don't. You get 0% financing. This is about 6 to 18 months. You're going to get 0%. Rocco, welcome to the call today. I appreciate you coming in. So 0% financing for about 6 to 18 months. And it depends on what kind of, which card provides what term. And I'll give you a little bit more insight in that as we go. You can get up to 150 grand. I'm going to teach you what determines how much you'll get approved for. It's one very simple factor. Now, with our brand new source that we're testing, I think we can even now get you above 150, but we're still testing. And again, it's no doc. So as I mentioned, you don't need tax returns. You don't need any kind of bank statements to get approved. So what do you need to get approved? How does this work? Well, let me kind of give you a rundown. To get approved, they're looking basically at good personal credit. You've got to have utilization below 30%. Now, if you're overutilized, we've got a source that you can actually pay down the credit card that you're over 30% on, and within 48 hours, they can have your credit report updated to get you approved. You need less than 4 to 5 inquiries typically, but it matters what kind of inquiries you have. What they're most concerned with is other credit cards. So if you have a Bank of America or a Chase inquiry for revolving credit, that would count as one of these 4 or 5. If you've got an auto vehicle financing or a mortgage, it wouldn't count. They're really looking at how many revolving inquiries you've had in the last 6 months. Is it less than 4 or 5? There's a good chance you can get approved. It used to be 700 FICO. They just changed it now to a 685. You can still get approved. And there's even a program that's a hybrid of this I'll teach you that you can get approved for even 620, 640 scores. I'll tell you about that as well. For this program, you can't have any derogatory items on your credit report. No derogatories. But again, I've got another option that's a hybrid of this that goes down to about 620, but you can have some derogatories. I'll tell you about that as we dive into this training. So how does this program work? It's pretty simple. You're going to get about 5 business credit cards or lines that mimic the highest credit limits that you have now. So if you have a $10,000 credit limit account now, you're going to get about 5 of those or about 50 grand. Now the new source we're testing out can get you used to be about 5 times the amount of your current credit card limit. We're now seeing about 6 to 8 times the amount of your highest credit limit account. So let's say you have a credit limit account for 10 grand. Well, that's going to get you somewhere between about 50 to 80,000 in financing. Let's say you've got 20,000. Well, then you're going to get about 100,000, 130,000 in financing because it's a multiple of what your credit limit is. It's about 5 to 8 times the amount of your highest credit limit account that you have now. Now, here's one of my favorite parts. These offer 0% financing for 6 to 18 months. So this works really good for people that are just starting a business or really good for people that want low payments. Because remember 2 things. First of all, this is revolving. That means you use it, you pay it down, you reuse it. It's the most popular kind of financing that most people ask about because you're not paying payments on the whole amount. With a loan, if you got a loan for 100 grand, you start paying payments immediately on a $100,000 loan. With this program, if you get $100,000 in real usable credit, you might only use $5,000 out the gate, $10,000 out the gate. Then you're only paying payments on what you're actually using of the $5,000 or $10,000. And if you pay the $5,000 or $10,000 down, you can reuse the credit. So revolving credit is one of the most popular types of financing for business owners because we can reuse it, we could pay it down, or we could use it, we could pay it down and reuse it, and we only pay on what we actually borrow instead of the entire loan amount. So pretty cool. You're getting 0% for 6 to 18 months. Some cards will have 0% for 6, some for 12, some for 18. But here's my favorite part about this program. It's wicked awesome. With this program, these accounts you're getting report to the business credit reporting agencies. They don't show on your consumer credit report. Now, this should make a big deal, and I'll explain. Because when we look at the consumer FICO score, 30% of this pie, 30% of your score is utilization. So if you get business credit cards that report on your consumer credit report, as you utilize those cards, your consumer credit scores go down. And the Capital One Spark card is a perfect example. You get it, it's in your business name, but it goes on your consumer credit report, and then it actually damages your FICO score because you're messing up your utilization because those accounts are reporting on your consumer reports. But not here. What happens here is they report to your business credit reports, to D&B, to Experian, to Equifax. And what's nice about that is that these scores are based on primarily how you pay your bills. So not only do you leave them off your consumer credit reports and leave your consumer credit reports intact, but with this program, you build business credit at exactly the same time. And as long as you're paying your bills as agreed, you're going to establish for your business an excellent business credit score. Now, what that means is when we look at the business credit building process, you're skipping the step. So once you set up your business credibly, you can then come in, get these accounts, not have to get these starter vendor accounts, and immediately start moving to high-limit store credit cards and high-limit fleet credit cards, cash credit cards, and auto vehicle financing. None of this requires a personal guarantee or credit check. Now, this program obviously does. But the benefit is not only can you get up to 150 grand in financing, you're also building your business credit by putting trade lines, 5 trade lines on your business credit accounts or business credit reports. Once these accounts show on your D&B, Equifax, and Experian, then you start moving into all kinds of high-limit store credit cards, fleet credit cards, cash credit cards, auto vehicle financing, all without a personal guarantee and without a personal credit check. So this is what that nets you. These are all these kind of approvals. None of these accounts require a personal guarantee or credit check, okay? $16,000 fleet credit card, $15,000 Shell, $20,000 Costco, $40,000 Best Buy, $35,000 Amazon, $40,000 Dell. Okay, none of these, $11,000 Bank of America, $11,000 Visa card, $10K at Apple. Okay, here's another approval at Apple for $75,000, another approval at Apple for $12,500. None of this credit requires a personal guarantee or credit check, but to get all of this, you have to have some business credit established. Well, the benefit here is not only are you getting up to $150,000 in unsecured financing, but it reports to the business credit reporting agencies, to D&B, Equifax, and Experian Commercial. It builds your business credit report. It gives you the 5 trade lines you need to start getting store, fleet, and cash credit. These kind of approvals without the guarantee. So that's pretty awesome. Because not only are you getting up to 150 grand, you get your first 5 trade lines that open the door to all these kind of credit limits that don't require a personal guarantee or credit check. It jump starts your business credit building, puts high limit accounts on your credit report, so shortly after your new card starts to report, you start to get all these kind of high limit accounts. So multiple purposes here, guys. You can get this financing regardless of cash flow, no tax returns, no bank statements needed, no collateral required. And then not only do you get up to 150 grand, you get your 5 accounts you need on D&B, Equifax, and Experian to start getting high limit store, fleet, and cash credit accounts like these kind of accounts that don't require a personal guarantee or a personal credit check. And remember, maybe you don't have a 685 credit score. No problem. Guarantors are welcome. A family member, a friend, a colleague, you can add anybody to the business that source will actually even help you do so. And as a result, you can actually get approved no matter how bad your credit is, as long as you have a guarantor. And remember, this credit doesn't show on the guarantor's credit report or yours. So the only way this would adversely affect your guarantor is, of course, if you defaulted. As long as you paid the bills as agreed, you're building your business credit, you're keeping the credit off the guarantor's credit report, and you're getting a bunch of benefits of getting the money that you need to start or grow the business without the documentation, without collateral, building your business credit at the exact same time with D&B, Equifax, and Experian. And again, no adverse effect on the guarantor unless, of course, you were to default. So remember some of the highlights. You can get up to 150 grand even as a startup. You don't need any collateral. It's no doc, no financials, no tax returns, no bank statements, no P&Ls, no projected P&Ls, none of that. You're getting 5, or with this new source we're testing, 5 to 8 times the current limit of your credit card. If your current highest credit card is 5 or 10 grand, for example, and Mario and 6 others, thank you guys for sharing. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me to share and like this. I really appreciate it. So you're getting 5 to 8 times the amount of your highest credit limit account. So if your highest credit limit account's 10 grand, you're getting 50 to 80,000 in financing, even as a startup, no doc, no collateral. And again, you're building your business credit at the same time because all this reports to the business credit reporting agencies. Pretty cool program. One of the coolest we've ever dealt with when it comes to business financing because it's easy to get. All you need is a 685 FICO or a guarantor at the 685 FICO. You get up to 150 grand. How much can you get? About 5 to 8 times the amount of your highest credit limit account that you have now. So here's the question. If you think that you may qualify for this now, well then go, check it out. We'll definitely talk to you more about it. CreditSuite.com/get funding. We'll talk to you about all the financing you can qualify for, okay? So CreditSuite.com/get funding. You can find out right now if you can get approved. Now here's the important thing to know. CreditSuite.com/get funding. We never charge you a dime to get any kind of financing at all. We will help you get all the financing you can qualify for. We don't ever charge you money. Okay, the lender and the credit issuers and all those type of things have normal fees and points just like SBA does. Just like in this, it will get rolled right into the deal. So on this, for example, you never pay a fee when you apply. You'll go to the finance source and the way, and I'll map out how it works in a second, but when you go to the finance source, once you get approved, you only pay on what you get approved for, and they're going to charge about 9 to 12%. We've got a few different options to choose from, and then they'll put that charge right on the card you get. So if you get $50,000 in financing, they'll put their charge right on the card you get. So you don't pay unless you actually get financing. We don't charge you a dime at all through the process. The finance source will charge you 9 to 12% depending on the option that you want to go with, and they'll put that charge right on the card. So just like an SBA loan, you're rolling the charge in. Here's the best part. This is the new reason we're testing a new source with this. You can also get cash out on these credit cards as well. So the new source we're testing lets you get physical cash up to 90% of the credit limits out. So if you get approved for 100 grand, you can get 90,000 in physical cash at 0% for 6 to 18 months. Then you pay whatever the normal credit card rates are thereafter that, right? It's just like consumer credit cards, but the rates are a little bit higher on commercial credit cards, business credit cards than they are consumer, but so are the limits. The limits are higher, the fees are a little higher. So you'll pay normal credit card rates after the promo time, but you're only going to pay 0% for 6 to 18 months, and you can get the cash out on the credit as well. So you can either use the revolving accounts as you need them or want to use them, or you could physically get cash for all the things that you may want to physically use cash for. So a lot of different benefits. So here's how this program works. Step 1. Go to creditsuite.com/get funding. If you go there, you're going to be asked a few qualifying questions. Our finance officers will call you and talk to you about all the financing you can qualify for, including this. Now, if you don't have a 685 score and you have a guarantor that does, then put the score of your guarantor there so we know that you're going to preliminary qualify. Our finance officers get on the phone, and if you go to creditsuite.com/get funding, and then we talk to you a little bit more. They'll explain what I just explained, how the program works, answer any questions you have. If it makes sense, we get you directly to the finance source. They do a consultation and again tell you exactly what I told you and exactly what the finance officer told you, because we want to make sure you understand all aspects of the program. If you say go ahead, the finance source has you sign some documents. They move forward to secure the credit for you. You get notified as you get approved, and as you get approved for each credit card or line, you you get an invoice that you then pay at that point. It's that simple. That's how the process actually works. Most of the sources with this program that we work with want credit monitoring. It's the only thing you need to get approved. We even have one source that doesn't require credit monitoring to get approved. They'll do a soft pull on your credit report to see what you can qualify for. So again, we've got a bunch of different options. It just comes down to about 3 weeks time to actually get your money. So from the moment you start to the moment you get your money in hand is about 2.5 to 3 weeks. And again, you can get up to $150,000 unsecured at 0%. Pretty cool, like I said. So, okay, there's 3 types of financing you can qualify for based on your cash flow, credit, or collateral. Today, we've dove in and dissect this credit-based financing. You need a 685 and pretty clean credit. Now, I told you I would give you another option. We do have the exact same program down to a 620 score. Even if you do have some derogatories, higher utilization, and higher inquiries, the only difference is that those accounts report to the consumer credit reporting agencies. So our goal is always to get you the ones that report to the business credit reporting agencies because you build your business credit. But even if you have challenged credit and it's down to 620 score, we can still sometimes get you approved with consumer credit cards with all the same benefits, just without the business credit reporting. But if you've got the 685 for you or a guarantor, you can come in and get up to 150 grand and 0% financing, no doc. Even as a startup, you don't need collateral, you don't need tax returns, you don't need bank statements. You're going to get about 5 to 8 times the amount of your highest credit limit account you have now. So if you have $10,000 credit limit now, you're going to get about $50,000 to $80,000 in this program. We've even got a source that can help you tap in and get the cash out on those cards. So if you wanted to get up to 90% of the limits out in physical cash, you could definitely do so. These accounts report to the business credit reporting agencies, so that builds your 5 accounts that you need with D&B, Equifax, and Experian to start getting these kind of high limit accounts without a personal guarantee and credit check. Now remember, this program, you do need a guarantee, you do need a credit check, it's credit based. But once these report to D&B, Equifax, and Experian, it then opens up these kind of limits, which are real approvals that our customers on our live streams tell us about and we verify on their credit reports. And in doing so, you can then come in and start building your business credit and qualifying for high limit, non-personal guarantee, non-personal credit check accounts. So you get 2 benefits. Not only are you getting up to 150 grand in financing, you're building your business credit at that same time and opening up all these kind of accounts without the guarantee, without the credit check. So pretty awesome program. If you think you can qualify, if you think you have a guarantor with 685 or you do, go to creditsuite.com/getfunding and we'll definitely talk to you more about it. Answer any questions that you have. So next week, Thursday, 11 o'clock Eastern Time, we're going to dive into the 3rd C, which is collateral-based financing. I'm going to teach you how to get interest rates that are lower than anything SBA offers. We're going to talk about 1 to 5%. I have my Sharpie, so I can't hold up 5. 1 to 5% interest rates on financing you can get regardless of personal credit and even as a startup. So we're going to talk about collateral-based financing, about 15 different options next week where you can get financing. And thank you, Alicia. Harris Reed, thank you very much for sharing this, and everybody else, Mario, Alicia, and everybody else that shared this and liked it. Thank you guys so much. It means so much to me that you do that. So next week, we're going to dive into collateral-based financing, 1 to 5% interest rate financing you can get regardless of personal credit quality. A lot of this stuff doesn't even have a personal credit check, and regardless of collateral as well, or regardless of cash flow as well. You don't need cash flow. You don't need to have good credit to get it. About 15 options where you can get interest rates of 1 to 5%. And also keep in mind, if this makes sense, if you want to do this for your customers, if you want to make money offering business credit and financing for your customers, talk with us more. 2 ways to do it. creditsuite.com/console. We actually have a white label program that puts you in the business of offering business credit financing to your customers, whether it's a primary or a secondary service, or you can just give us a ring. 877-600-2487. That's our number if you want to talk more about offering business credit financing as a service, or if you just want to chat about business credit building or financing, or you can schedule time for our team at creditsuite.com/console. I'll be the first to tell you, we've got 3 customer service people to every salesperson we have, so sometimes you might hit voicemail on our sales queue. If you leave a message, we'll call you back. If not, if you don't want to do that, then just schedule a time with creditsuite.com/console. We'll talk to you about all kinds of things. how to get business credit. We'll help you get a free copy of your business credit report. We'll talk to you about how to get financing, and we'll talk to you about how to offer financing and business credit to your customers through our white label program, where you can actually do this as a primary or a secondary business. And remember, if you think that you have the cash flow credit or collateral to qualify, the 685 FICO for you or a guarantor we talked about today, then go to creditsuite.com/get funding. You answer a few simple questions. Within 24 hours, our finance team is on the phone with you. They'll start the process. And to get up to 150 grand in 0% no doc financing takes about 2.5, 3 weeks for this program. But if you have cash flow, we can even get you financing in as little as 24 to 72 hours. We've got a bunch of funding options available. And what's nice about it is we don't ever charge you a dime to get financing. It doesn't mean that it's free. I wish there was free money. We'll keep trying to get that done for you. It just means that you're going to pay the lender or the finance source whatever their normal fees are, the rates, the points, the interest rates. We even help you negotiate that, but we never charge you a dime. In a lot of cases, they pay us a referral fee just for getting you over there and helping get the loan done. So it's pretty cool because you've got us in your corner. We help you with the finance blueprint. We help you map out all the financing you can get now and a strategy to get more in the future. And our services cost you nothing to be able to do that if you're just interested in getting financing. But if you want to talk more about building business credit, if you want to talk more about getting financing for your business, getting business credit for your business, offering it as a service, give us a ring, 877-600-2487, or schedule time with us, creditsuite.com/console. Or if you're just interested in go, Ty, that program's awesome and I know I can qualify for now, then go to creditsuite.com/get funding. And if you've done so, then we'll talk to you through our finance team and see if we can get you approved. Thank you very much for the likes and shares. This is weird. This is like the first scope I've ever done where I don't have a bunch of comments and questions. So that being said, if you had comments and questions, it didn't show on my stream. I'm sorry I didn't answer them. But I really appreciate you all coming in today. I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate you liking. I'll talk to you next week when we talk about collateral-based financing and how you can get interest rates from 1 to 5% regardless of cash flow, regardless of personal credit. We're going to dive into that next week, Thursday at 11 o'clock. And again, if you came into this late, go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Credit Suite, and you can get this video in its entirety where we map out this awesome program where you can get up to $150,000, no doc financing, unsecured, even as a startup. I really appreciate you coming. Again, if you had comments, my apology. I didn't really show comments here in my stream today, but I saw the likes. I saw your shares. I appreciate that. I look forward to talking to you next Thursday at 11 o'clock here on Facebook. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.